Let's be real for a second. Dealing with customer service can be a nightmare. We've all been there, right? Stuck in that frustrating loop, repeating the same information over and over again. Well, that's the reality of broken customer communication, and it's a huge problem for businesses. But what if there was a technology powerful enough to actually fix it? To create experiences that feel, well, seamless? Today, we're diving into exactly that.
I want you to think about it from your customer's point of view for a minute. Are they navigating a confusing maze every time they try to reach out? Maybe they start on your website, then they have to call, then they get an email, and at every single one of those steps, they're forced to start the conversation completely from scratch. It's just a frustrating, disjointed journey. And believe me, it's costing businesses way more than they realize.
So where does this maze even come from? It's built from all the different ways customers try to connect with you. We're talking phone calls, WhatsApp, email, social media, the whole shebang. Now, the problem isn't having all these channels. That's actually a good thing. The problem is that for most businesses, they all operate in total isolation. They're like little islands, creating a really disconnected and jarring experience for the very people you're trying to help.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at the high cost of this disconnection. Then, we'll introduce the big solution, Omnichannel, and the hero of our story, VoiceAI. We'll see it in action, break down the real business payoff, and then wrap things up with a practical roadmap you can actually use. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into the core problem here. What really happens when all your communication channels are just these siloed, separate systems? What's the actual real-world impact of that?
Well, the cost is incredibly high. First, you get these huge gaps in communication where critical info just falls through the cracks. Then you have customers forced to repeat their story over and over, which, let's be honest, is the #1 cause of frustration. And for the business, this leads directly to missed sales opportunities, lost leads, and a brand that, frankly, just feels disorganized.
But what's the fix? If the problem is a maze of disconnected channels, then the solution is to build a bridge between them. And that's the core idea behind a true omnichannel strategy.
Now, this is a crucial distinction that so many businesses get wrong. They think they're omnichannel, but what they really are is just multi-channel. See, they have a phone number, an email address, and a website, but in that setup, those systems are separated by giant brick walls. Omnichannel, that's a totally different philosophy. It's a unified system where all channels are connected, they're synchronized, creating one single continuous conversation.
So how do you build that bridge? The key, the secret ingredient, is VoiceAI. Think of it as the central intelligence layer. It's the brain of the whole operation. It uses natural language processing to understand the context from an email, and then it can apply that context to a phone call and then send a totally relevant follow-up on WhatsApp. It's the technology that actually connects every single interaction, making a true omnichannel experience possible.
All right, enough with the theory. Let's move into practice and see how this all comes together in a real-world customer journey. This is where you can really, truly see the power of a connected system.
Just look at this flow. A customer sees an ad on Instagram, visits your site, and fills out a form. And then, instantly, within seconds, VoiceAI calls them to qualify their interest. Once they're qualified, it sends a WhatsApp confirmation, logs everything automatically in the CRM, and even schedules SMS reminders. If the customer replies to one of those reminders, the AI handles it. Then, after the service is done, they get an email summary and a feedback request. See, it's one single, effortless conversation happening seamlessly across 6 different channels.
Okay, that journey is obviously amazing for the customer. But what about the business? What's in it for you? Well, the payoff is just as significant, with some really tangible, data-driven results.
First and foremost, you're looking at higher conversion rates. It's simple, really. When a potential customer shows interest, that instant follow-up call from the AI makes all the difference. Leads don't have time to go cold, or worse, go look at a competitor. That speed doesn't just capture their attention, it builds immediate trust and makes you look incredibly professional.
And of course, there's the customer experience itself. When the system actually remembers their history and guides them smoothly from one step to the next, customers feel genuinely supported and understood. They don't feel like just another ticket number. They feel like they're having a coherent, personalized conversation.
And think about what this does for your human team. The AI takes over all of those repetitive but absolutely critical tasks. The follow-ups, the reminders, the data entry. This frees up your people to focus on the complex problem-solving and building deeper customer relationships. The high-value work that really drives a business forward.
And the strategic advantages go even deeper than that. You're building a stronger, more consistent brand because every single touchpoint feels connected. You're gaining incredibly valuable insights because the AI is tracking every interaction. And best of all, your operations can now scale up efficiently without being limited by headcount.
So, you see the power, you see the potential, but you're probably thinking, how do I actually make this happen? Well, this final section gives you a practical, 6-step roadmap to get it done.
Now, the most important thing to remember here is you have to be systematic. You don't just flip a switch and call it a day. You start by mapping your existing customer journey to find the real pain points. Then, you strategically choose where to introduce automation. From there, it's all about connecting your systems, designing those conversational flows, and then launching, monitoring, and constantly improving. It's an evolving process, not a one-time setup.
Ultimately, when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one simple idea. All those separate islands of communication, your phone, your website, your social media, they're finally connected. Voice AI is the bridge that turns a fragmented set of tools into a single, intelligent, and truly seamless customer experience.
So, the final question I want to leave you with is this. Are you still forcing your customers to navigate a frustrating maze? Or are you ready to start building some bridges?